Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, Makakadash. Double honors to Apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elders and Akim pushing this truth and sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And to the elect who are receiving this truth, I say grace be unto you. I'm the brother Kahan from the GMS Dallas camp coming to you today with a quick lesson over this article. Basically just going into, uh, you know, the times that we're in, man. We're seeing the prophecies taking place. A lot of people are feeling the birth pains of this wicked system, man. To the point where even economists, are basically speaking out, speaking about these times, right? So this is a quick little article I'm going to read. I'm just going to highlight a couple of points, get a couple of precepts, and hopefully it'll be edifying. Just going into this guy Jamie Dimon. He's the believe the CEO of J.P. Morgan. Basically, just highlighting what's going on, what's going to happen, in these economic times that we're seeing. So he outlined basically three shifts that's going to affect this economy, and I'm going to kind of like highlight a couple of them, And if you want to, you can read the article. But basically, it's just going into his three economic shifts. The end of free money and a new rate reality. Uh, he said geopolitics, fiscal strain, and the consumer squeeze, and then the unknown effect of AI productivity. So I'm just going to read a little bit of this, and then we're going to get a couple of precepts and close it out. But anyway, without further ado, it says Jamie Dimon is again trying to reset expectations about where the economy is heading, and this time his focus is squarely on what could hit in 2026. Instead of celebrating a soft landing, the J.P. Morgan Chase chief is warning that a very different mix of forces is forming on the horizon, and that force is Yahweh Bashim Shah. These prophecies, man. There's no way around. Trying to, outsmart the will of the Most High, man. You know, uh, Nothing is beyond Yahweh Bashim Shah's control, man. He controls everything. The economy, the minds of these elites, the outcomes of what's to happen, man. The downfall of this wicked system, and ultimately the ushering in of the kingdom of heaven, man. And that's what the men of the Lord have been preaching, you know, uh, from ancient times until now, and nothing's changed, man. Nothing comes out the mouth of Yahweh Shemashai void, man. You know. So anyway, continuing on, it says what uh, taken together, his three big shifts amount to a caution that the next phase of the cycle will not look like the last one. Right? It says Diamond's message is not that a crash is inevitable, but that investors, executives, and households are underestimating how much the ground is moving beneath them. As I see it, this argument boils down to this: the era of easy money is over. The geopolitical backdrop is more dangerous, and artificial intelligence could either turbocharge productivity or expose new fault lines in the labor market and financial system. And we know these elites, man, they're planning this economic crash, man. You know, uh, elders and apostles always highlight the term order out of chaos. Order out of chaos, the Hegelian dialectic. You know, they already creating the problem, but they already have the solution, and ultimately that's the what? That's the C hip, man. See, because they see that this system is uh, in debt, man, trillions of dollars, man, and they can't repay that debt. So what they're gonna do? They're gonna burn down the house so that they can, bring about a new order. You see? So let me get a quick scripture real quick. This is Salaki. This is Let me get that real quick, Salaki. Bear with me. Right, Salaki. This always happens. Okay. This is Proverbs chapter 21 And verse 5, it says, the thoughts of the diligent tend only to plenteousness, but of everyone that is hasty only to want. Right. So let me get that let me get that in the NLT real quick. Basically break it down. Because basically, no, these elites are planning for the worst. You know what I mean? They planning for the worst and thinking that it's gonna help them. Right. Proverbs 21:5. You know, it says what? The plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste lead to poverty, man. See? So they trying to, these elites are trying to, you know, use whatever leverage that they can in order to keep their riches, man. But it's only going to lead to them being, poor anyway. See? But the elect, what are they doing? They're investing in heavenly treasures, man. You know, we're out on the highways and byways preaching the downfall of the system. We know that this fractional reserve money that they're printing out, is basically, creating all this debt, man. There's no way around that. See, see. Let me get that Proverbs, right? Proverbs 10:2, NLT, right? It says, "What ill-gotten treasures have no lasting value, but righteousness delivers from death." That's right, man. You see, these ill-gotten treasures from these elites, they rape, robbed, and pillaged this country, you know, uh, using their free labor from slaves to uh, increase their wealth, and then use their wealth and their power and influence to what put other countries in debt, man. See, but now they're going to be in debt, you know, and those who have been downtrodden, those who have been, exploited, you so-called Black Latinos and Native Americans, and specifically the elite, I mean, the elect of Israel, what they're going to be brought back to their former state, man. You see. Let me get another scripture real quick. This is Proverbs. I should be getting the KJV, but sometimes I get in the NLT to kind of give a little bit more perspective, break down some things. But Salaki, this is Proverbs 22:3. All right. It says what? The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty. That's right, man. Who are the prudent? The prudent are the men and women of the scriptures, man. Men and the women on the highways and byways, right? Preaching this truth, man, and seeking that wisdom from on high, man. Going through prophecies, going through the history of how our oppressors have always exploited the poor and tried to take advantage of them, man. But our power always delivers us, man, and that's what we're trying to tap into. That's what we're explaining on the highways and byways, to our people. See that this end is only Esau's end. The beginning of Jacob, the beginning of the house of David is gonna spring forth, man. See, let me go back to that article real quick. All right, Salaki. So again, it says what? The end of free money and a new rate reality. See, and who's doing this? It's the wicked elite, man. It says the first shift Diamond is flagging is the move away from what he has described as a world of near zero interest race towards a more historical normal and potential higher cost of capital. For more than a decade, companies, governments, and consumers built strategies on the assumption that borrowing would stay cheap, refinancing would be painless, and asset prices will be supported by central banks. And these elites, man, they just use these clever, you know, tactics, just to, uh, wiggle their way out of of making you feel like you're part of their a system that's legitimate, right? We all remember the 2008 financial crash, right? Uh, Billions of dollars were extracted from the housing market, from the middle class, the poor, and where did it go to? It went to the coffers of the banks, man, right? And you saw our previous president, Barack Obama. What did he do? He went to the House Democrats and Republicans, Nancy Pelosi, and basically begged them for a bailout, man. See, but they're going to use all these fancy terms just to make you feel as if they have some sense of what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing, man. See, they just kicking the rocks down the line, man, to the next generation, kicking that debt towards the next generation, man. See. So, in practical terms, a higher rate regime means that everything from 30-year mortgages to corporate bond insurance will be repriced with knock-on effects for housing, capital spending, and bank credit equality. Bank credit quality, right? So let me jump down to here towards the next one. It says geopolitics, fiscal strain, and the consumer squeeze. It says the second major shift is in Diamond's 2026 outlook is the collision between geopolitics, heavy government borrowing, and the resilience of the consumer. He has been blunt that conflicts and strategic rivalry are no longer background noises for markets, but active drivers of energy prices, supply chains, and defense spending. That geopolitical layer sits on top of already large fiscal deficits, which means governments are issuing more debt into a world where investors are demanding higher yields and combinations that can crowd out private investment and eventually filter into slower growth and higher taxes. That's right, man. All they doing, man, is just again, bringing about more debt, borrowing more money. They're not trying to fix anything. They're trying to make sure that they're protected and the structure remains the same. Where you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, the poor of this country, remain in your place, man. You see. Let me go to a scripture real quick. That's Psalms 20, Psalm 73. Right. Psalm 73. Right. I start at 1. It says, "Truly Yahweh is good to Israel," and that word Israel is Yasharallah, Prince of Power, even to such as are of a clean heart. And that's what we're doing, man. We want our minds to be clean. We want to be washed away from the wickedness of this debt system, man. See, this system is just basically exploits people, and it's basically a usury where they never allow those who are in debt to get out of debt. See, verse 2 says, "But as for me, my feet were almost gone, my steps had well nigh slipped, for I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked." See, and that's what Esau is trying to do, man. He's just trying to maintain his status. All this business jargon that he's using, you see, it's not for your purpose. It's not for you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, so that he can maintain his power structure, man. He moves money here, moves it away from this economy, moves it and that economy, you know. But ultimately, it's gonna meet the same end, man. See, it says, "For there are no bands in their debt, but their strength is firm." Right, they are as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Therefore, pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covereth them as a garment. That's right, man. These elites, man, they don't have a problem with changing the regime, changing the rules of the game. They'll tell you, they'll tell you in the beginning that these are the rules. This is how things are supposed to be. Then, when they figure that you figuring it out, then they change the rules all of a sudden. See, that's how they work, man. See. Verse 8, "They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loftily. They set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth." That's right. They blaspheme the name of Yahweh Shai. They're not telling you who the true people of the Bible are. Their tongue, meaning their philosophy, walking throughout the earth, man, confusing people, saying one thing and doing another. You see, so these, they can't be trusted ultimately, man. You see. Let me jump down to 11. It says, "They say, how doth Yahweh know? And is there knowledge in the Most High?" That's right. They think that they can get away with everything because they've been doing it for so long. They're very crafty in their enterprise. You know. But again, Yahweh Bashim Shai has already he what he says the end from the beginning. You see, verse 12 says, "But these are the ungodly who prosper in the world; they increase in riches," and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to continually increase in their riches and what extract by extracting your money, making you work longer, right? Making you work 2 or 3 jobs. You see, and ultimately they're going to bring in that new digital all, that C hip, so that you'll be out of a job, man. See, so that's they want to maintain control by any means. You see, it says, "Verily I have cleansed my heart in vain and washed my hands in innocency." Right, right. Verse 17 is the point. "Until I went into the sanctuary of Yahweh, then understand I their end." That's right. So that's why we're confident with what's going to happen, man. See, their problem is not our problem. How they say the slogan, that's rich people problems. Yeah. See, our mindset is the downfall of this kingdom. Our mindset is the kingdom of Yahweh Shema Shai. See, so again, we take comfort in knowing that these things have already been preordained. They've already been arranged in a way where you know Esau is going to panic, but the elite, I mean the elect of Israel, you see, those who are signed and crowned on the byways, highways and byways, for the abominations thereof, we're going to be comforted, man, as we see these prophecies unfold, as we see more, uproars in the city, you know, we're comforted when we hear things that are happening like this. You see, let me go back a little bit read a little bit of the article. Now I'm gonna close it out. I'm gonna jump down to, it says, the unknown effect of AI productivity. Right? It says the third shift, and arguably the most uncertain, is the role of artificial intelligence in reshaping productivity and growth by 2026. And again, they don't mind laying off millions and millions of jobs in order to put more money in their pockets. They don't mind, uh, making you so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans worry about putting food on the table as they introduce, new systems of technology so that they can control you, they can control society and keep controlling society. You see, that's why they're not really worried. They just want to make sure they put their money where they can have more control and power. You see, so it's not about debt, you know, it's about control. So continuing on, what says, Diamond has been unusually vocal among big bank leaders about the potential for AI to transform how companies operate, from automating routine office work to enhancing risk management and customer service. At the same time, he has stressed that the unknown effect of AI driven productivity gains make traditional forecasting less reliable, because the technology could either unlock a surge in output or trigger disruptive job displacement and new forms of inequality. And believe you me, you know, they understand what they're doing. Even though they at certain points where they seem uncertain, they know that with this AI technology that is going to bring more profit for them. You see, but ultimately, you know, Spirit of Yahweh Shemashah is gonna allow that enterprise to come to an end, man. You see, This system is not gonna be continuous, man. You see, so as prophecies keep taking place, people are going to start realizing that this system is gonna turn against them. That's when that second Ezra, the 15 chapters, comes into place. You know. So again, let me get one last scripture, and I'll close it out. This is First Timothy 6:17. It says, "Charge them that are rich in this world, that they be not high-minded, nor trust in uncertain riches, but in the living power, who giveth us richly all things to enjoy." That's right. So Yahweh Shema Shah he gives us all things that richly that we can enjoy, man. And the riches that we enjoy is the wisdom that this system is going to removed and replaced with the more righteous system, man, the kingdom of Yahweh. So we put our wisdom and our trust in Him. You see, the wicked put their trust in this world, man. See, see. So the riches that the elite, you know, they have gotten, they're not. It's not going to protect them, from the wrath of the Most High, man. That's the point. That's the ultimate point. The riches, all these moves that the elites, Jamie Dimon is trying to do, is not going to protect them from the judgment that's already been prophesied to come to those who are wicked, man. See. So anyway, I'm gonna close it out. I hope this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim HaKadosh. Double honors to Apostle Great Millstone, who well. Peace and salutations to the elders and Akim pushing the truth and sincerity. And to the elect who are receiving the truth, I say grace be unto you. Keep fighting. Kwame Ashawala and Abba Ball.